So in front of you is, you should see my Replit. Oops, I started my recording but not Zoom screen sharing. So share. All right, so now, do you see my screen? Yes? You should see Replit. All right, cool. So right here, I'll take care of some of the hard part. And to begin, as you know, for this project, if you browse around, everything's in terms of vectors. So that uses this class over here that was given to you. And some of you may not know what vectors are just yet. If you think about like a line in the coordinate axes, they have like a starting point, and then you have like a slope and it goes a certain direction. Yes? That's an equation of a line. There's slope, there's a y-intercept, like that's your like start. And for vectors, you have a head and a tail. So your y-intercept, your starting point, is called a head. And then you'll have a direction, and that determines which way you point. So over here, in my little demo, right, like this thing going up and down, right here, you can think about that as a vector. This is your center, that's your head, and then you start pointing this way. So in our coordinate axes, this is up direction, it's 0 degrees. And degrees or radians it could be measured in. You'll need that because that's how shapes are being drawn in this case. If you go to the turtle class, I'm going to have to make some modifications. Okay, let's try to run demo simple. I hope this other code won't break when I try to run this. So as a reminder, right here, the demo underscore simple. All right, run. Okay, gray screen, and in the center you see that shape, right? So it looks like a little spaceship. Yes, so it's a little point, and then it has two little like legs. If you go to your turtle class, the base class that was given to you, you will see it has a get shape function over here. And that polygon, like that four-sided shape, is defined like as such. You have your first point over here. Okay, so if you think about the center of your little rocket ship shape, your turtle shape, there's your center. You go forward, its nose is like especially tall, and in a clockwise direction, it's going to define like the right leg. It's like center piece where my thumbs are, and then it goes to the left. Okay, and those 4 points of the intersections here, 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 and here, right? That thing is how the shape of your turtle object is defined. And in our case, when we want to make a statue, that's going to be a circle. So that's a bunch of different points. Think about like the hands of a clock, the second hand as it slowly ticks. We're going to march around in a circular pattern, right, and define our circle that ways. And so you'll notice I gave you this helper function that calculates that. You start over here. The blue dot is your center, and that's a vector object. Kind of a bad name. Vector itself is the position, initial position. In this case, we are pointing up to begin with, so that's the first point. Your radius is how wide your circle is going to be. I guess, what's the formal term? Vectors have a magnitude. That's how long it is, right? That's going to be your radius. And then num is how many corners you want. So we're going to increase that to determine this, the shape of our polygon, right? The higher it is, the more it looks like a circle, and that's going to be good enough for us. And you notice in the little function that I gave you, there's a loop that repeats how many times you tick along this, like in your pattern. And this line, pos plus vector, rotate 360, blah, 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 all that does is like move it along. So when I go here, right, we're going to need that. That's going to be how the shape of our statue is going to be defined, that circular pattern. So a lot of object-oriented programming will look like copy and pasting, like over here, right? This is the turtle class, okay? And our statue is very much like a turtle, or yeah, it's very much like a turtle. So this point is this idea of inheritance that I didn't really talk about yet in the PowerPoint. But because like statues are like turtles that don't move, they also have a different shape, we're going to reuse a lot of that code from our turtle. Later, when we implement a mouse and a cat, the movement patterns we can borrow from a turtle. And like then we add on new things that make a mouse special, that make a cat special, right? Like for example, the mouse in our assignment prompt, right? The mouse circles the statue, and then the cat chases the mouse, and then it has specific relationship there. So for here, because the class here, right? So let's see if we can get the shape to be, well, we have to write both of these in order to get something to be on the screen. We're gonna borrow like all this code and then make modifications to it. Well, maybe just work on the first two. We just want to show a statue to the screen. Gotta fix all this indentation. So here, this first line, right, this is going to be a turtle constructor. Turtle constructor. And before making modifications to this, because we inherit from the turtle class, this constructor is going to be called when we make a statue object. Right? We call the statue's object constructor, and then that's going to call the turtle object's constructor. So any information that a statue has, or any information that a turtle has, the statue also has, right? So let's take care of those coordinates first. For this part, might as well break it up. Its position, that's going to be a vector object. That's the first thing that's going to be defined. And then the heading, that's the initial direction. In this case, I think it's pointing up. So that's going to be the same here. The style, how do I say this? How your object is being drawn, that's going to be the same as whatever the turtle is being drawn. Black outline, white fill, the line thickness of 1. Here, right, returning the list of vectors to give it a polygon for a turtle, that comment is going to change. This thing is going to return the list giving a circle for this statue. So this is where we'll be using that circle function. Oh, gotta fix my indenting. Okay, so this moves over, this moves over. Now we begin defining that circular pattern. I have some notes. Okay, so forward is going to be whatever direction we're pointing. In this case, I think it's up. Oops. So here, another thing about vectors, there's something called a unit vector. This is what we're making use of here. Just extracting the direction. Where does this function come from? We have to dive into the vector class. And then when we scroll down, here it is. All right. So all this complicated stuff is, okay, whatever direction you are pointing, the statue is going to point that same way. Where was I? Here. Okay. And then we're going to define and use our circle function. And that's the first function I talked about in the beginning. That's this thing up here. So we need typo. Oh, thank you. I feel like this is, I always make this mistake too, even the first time we talked about turtles, right? I always spell forward. Okay, so for a circle, the first thing that we need is that initial vector. Right, think about that as your center, your xy coordinate. The next thing that we need is that initial direction, pointing up, forward. And now here comes the next part, right? In order for, like, this is where the features, the attributes of a statue class come in. A turtle doesn't have a radius, but a statue does. So that's one of the things we'll have to add in here. So let me comment this a bit better for your notes. These attributes are inherited from the turtle object. Okay, base class. The attributes below are new ones that belong to a statue object. So one of those things is the radius. Enter. Self.radius. That's some information we have to give in. So when we make a statue, we're going to tell it how long its radius is going to be. Let's add that here into the constructor, radius, okay, comma. Okay, I'll fix this indenting once I'm done typing it all out. So then here, where was I? Okay, that's the radius, great. So then this argument is going to be self.radius, comma. We tell it how many times to tick. Maybe in the beginning we'll just do 4. And I think we're okay. This may end up being kind of small. Let's find out. So let's see. So that is the basis of your statue class. When we run this, like the main file or the stuff where it initiates all the action, that's in catmouse.py. So I made some changes here from the initial project. I commented out these two things because we're just focusing on the statue right now. If we were to run it and these lines were uncommented, catandmouse.py, because we haven't defined those yet here and here, they're not going to run. The program's not going to run. So then I commented that out. As I scroll down over here, we don't have these things just yet because we haven't made cats or mice. So that's going to get commented out. These two are going to get commented out because we haven't defined those classes yet. But this is the line of code we're going to add in. We create an instance of the statue object that we've just defined. Its position is here at position 200, 200. The coordinates in this trinket widget, right, is 700 by 700. So we're going to start somewhat in the center. X grows positively to the right, Y grows positively down, so it's just like what you're used to from drawing in P5. This thing is 1. Oh shoot, I forgot. So this thing is our heading. Seems a bit weird. Okay, so we're 1 degrees over, slightly tilted, I guess. And then we have our radius. So in this case, it's going to be 20. So once we have that defined, down here, there is a couple more comments we have to make to our arena. So that's this gray square in Trinket Trinket, Tinker. That's what puts it onto the screen. And then we commented out these two lines because we haven't made those just yet. And let's see what happens. Stop. Run. Okay, it's doing its ticking. Alright, cool. What? It's turtle. So the one thing I forgot to do is inside REPL.it, we're not running demo_simple anymore. We're running cat mouse. Okay, so after that change, let's see what happens. 3, 2, 1. Oop. Ah, okay. Of course, I typed in forward and not forward. And I'll take this time to walk through some of these errors. You'll notice that I made a bunch of changes in different files. And your error messages now are that much more complicated. It jumps through those files in the order that they're called. And to understand that, you have to use some of those object-oriented ideas, or the computer kind of walks you through that object-orientedness. So for here, the program started by calling arena.addStatue. So if you go here, well, you go to cat mouse, scroll down a little bit, you'll see it right here. We defined our statue object, and then right here, it tried to add it. All right, great. When it goes there, and then self.update turtle. Okay, so now we go here, update. Where are you, update? That might be tied to the arena object. Arena. Press, running, release, motion, here, update, right? So update, the main idea behind that is everything that exists in your canvas inside your arena, it's going to progress it once forward. Once we get there, it tries to draw your turtle shape. Although it's the base class of a turtle, it's actually our statue. So then eventually it will jump here. And then it goes down to get shape. And then, just like Elton pointed out, I spelled this word wrong. And that's where it threw the error, right? But you see how it moves through those different layers, those different files, those different objects in order to get here, right? Because we did talk about method overriding. Because a turtle itself has a getShape function, a statue now overwrites it. It's going to make in this case, a 4-pointed square or diamond instead of drawing that little rocket ship shape. Okay, so we made that change. Run. Let's try that again. None type object is not iterable. So now my statue object, did I not give it a list? Let me double check. No, it's a list. Did it save? So forward circle A. This is what I forgot. So I defined my list, and right now I didn't return my list. Return A. The other shortcut, you could have just deleted this line and then return here, like that. But I didn't tell the getShape function, this is what you are. Okay, one more time, here we go. Oh no! Dang it. Okay, goodness. scared me for a second. Okay, so in here, I'll make it bigger. You see our little diamond shape now, right? Cool, that's progress. And so let me stop. You notice there's no quit button anymore because it's purely a simulation that you will get running. So then here, you imagine if we change it to 8, we double it, you'll see 8 points. Okay, so you zoom in, yes. So if you increase it to like, 40, it looks close enough to a circle. Stop, run. Okay, so there's your statue. So this stuff is going to get shared with you. No need to like copy it down frantically. Imagine it's kind of hard to follow too because I have to like jump through all these different files. So there we go. There's your statue object. All right. So let's try to make a mouse and get that working. Let's see if we can get the mouse to circle around this statue that's a circle. Okay. All right. So far so good. I'm always scared that the Replit, the window, is going to stop working, and then I have to go switch to Visual Studio. So from scratch, let's go to mouse.py. You have a currently blank file. So just like from before, a mouse is going to inherit things from a turtle. So its constructor is going to look like this. All right, its class definition. And now we call this mouse, okay, like that. As we pass in a turtle object, this says that mouse object inherits everything from a turtle. As we go back to statue, as we are borrowing these methods, we have to copy and paste these first couple lines too. I'm like thinking, is that cheating? I don't think so. Should be fine. As we go here, what are we thinking about? I'm like thinking about what's different here compared to a statue object, and I think right now it's pretty much the same. So all this stuff we're going to copy, put in the mouse. All right. And so far, because we use this circle function, we also need that from statue. And like a thought that crossed my mind is like, okay, Mr. Chan, so if you're copy and pasting, how come we can't inherit like everything from the statue class? If a statue inherits everything from a turtle, why not have a mouse inherit everything from a statue? If you think about it, like you don't inherit things from your brother and sister, right? You're on the same like generation level, if that makes sense. The parent right now is the turtle class, and so that's what you're inheriting from, right? That hierarchy, that relationship. You also remember that the mouse will eventually have to circle around the statue, and what do I want to say? Like movement you'll need from the turtle, but the statue like doesn't do anything special. So that's why we're copying and pasting over this these lines of code. And at the moment, let's just be convinced that this works, that we defined this all right. We go to cat mouse, And at the moment, we're just defining things as if like the mouse object was a statue. We don't have an angle just yet. We will add one soon. But here, I'm going to borrow all this. Instead of saying statue, we're going to call that mouse. Mouse. Let's start that to the left a little bit. So to the left is 100 pixels over. Moose, mouse. Okay, let's add it to our arena. Double check the replit. I think I moved everything over. And functionally right now, our mouse is just like a statue. What we expect to see on the screen, oops, error name, mouse is not defined. Yes, it is. It's right here. Oh, one thing I forgot to put back in, up here. From mouse, import mouse. So it's from the mouse.py file, we are importing the mouse class. Run. Cool. So far, we see that the statue is in white, the mouse is to the left in white. Let's see if we can play around with the color. I'm scared too. I didn't take a quite look at this. If I want to make it gray or black. Oh, here it is. Okay, so we have these shortcuts. Great. So let's make our mouse gray. Mice are gray, right? So then in the mouse class for the color, fill, let's type that in to be gray. Cool. Good, yes. We could also make our statue bigger to distinguish the two, so going forward, that's easier. So we go to cat-mouse.py, and the constructor here, let's make it twice the size. Alright, cool. So big statue, tiny mouse. Alright, now we think about, okay, what makes a mouse different than a statue? Well, because you have to know where the statue is, right? Your mouse is going to have to take in a statue object. Okay, that's a little weird. Do you still need a radius? Yeah, because we're making them visually different. So here it's going to be statue. I'm like thinking about the changes that we're gonna make. Do we need one? Okay, so maybe we don't at the moment. Let's see if we can avoid that. Okay. Get shape is going to be the same. And I'm thinking about the chasing idea and where that's going to occur. So the circular path, right? That's going to take us a bit more thinking. If you go, where do I want to show you? Inside here, right? The movement, arena.run. So what I'm thinking right now is this one. This thing's gonna have to get updated. Its position and its direction, right? Its heading. If you go here in walking, because that's the demo program that showed us evidence of movement, each time we press the run button and the stop button, it progressed forward. If you know, wait, so let's go into walking turtle. That's a better one. So then this idea of speed, that's what we're going to have in. Okay. wait, no, okay. So Amelia, you're looking for what's the error? Did you write the same thing twice? So remember, so those changes look good from radius is not defined. Okay. Um, Here, your init after heading radius comma. You have to add that in. So right here in my statue.py, right here, this word. So your constructor right now is expecting a radius, but it doesn't have those just yet. Okay, so what I have highlighted, that's what you need to add in. All right. Then we'll return to this idea. So here, as we look at this code, notice it's get next state, that function that progresses it straight ahead. I believe we're going to need one of these when we progress our mouse one ahead. All right, and this is where it gets kind of complicated. Maybe we'll start with this idea. Let's just move our mouse in a straight line first before we talk about a circle, right? Because circles are hard, as I'm sure those in pre-calc are learning. But it's this similar idea, right? You start at your position, you're going to add the speed going in a certain direction, and you're still, and eventually this is going to change, right? Because it's a straight line, of course you're pointing in the same direction. If you're going up and you move up, then you still should be pointing up. Same thing with left, right. But eventually when you go in a circle, each time you progress forward like a certain number of pixels, whatever your speed is, right, then your direction changes ever so slightly. It's a little bit to the right to get that circular path. So that's the annoying part that we have to like work through. All right. So down here, def, and we're overriding the method. So everything happens from just like this one function call, get next state, whether you're a statue, an object, or whether you're a statue, mouse, or a cat, right? Your get next state is being called. In the turtle object, right? You might be thinking, okay, statue right here doesn't have a get next state. So how come it's like knows to stay there? Well, since you're borrowing everything from a turtle class, right? If you notice here inside the turtle class, right? Because you inherited everything, you already have your parents' get next state. It calls the turtle objects get next state, which is just saying stay where you are. So that's how like this code doesn't break immediately. It does know what to do. It's borrowed from the turtle class. But here it's going to be different. All right. What's an idea? Let's just try to do this. Temporarily, we're just going to advance, go ahead, right? Going straight. I think we're going to go up still. Let's try to change that to go right. Right. For now, mouse moves up. It has a position, it has a direction, which is where it's heading, okay, hence the name. We don't have a speed just yet. We might as well go ahead and define a speed. So let's go here, self.speed equals since we're in a mouse now, let's update our words. Okay. And that's going to be speed. So later on we can change it if we wanted to move faster. As we added in these attributes, we have to go over here, speed. Okay. And now, because we made those changes, we've added in speed, we've set its attribute down here. Where are you? We are going to go to catmouse.py. Let's do mouse speed 125. I think that'll work. And then here, heading small radius mouse. Oops. Gosh darn it. Okay. Cool. Let's see what happens. Invalid syntax. Let's move this up. Oh. I forgot a comma. Yeah, I forgot a comma. Gosh. I closed it too fast. Don't break. Okay, it's there. I don't even know if it's moving. Do you see it moving? Alright, stop. Let's go back to our mouse. Perhaps we need to increase that speed a lot more. Cat mouse. Let's make it 5. I don't want it to like zoom off the screen, so we'll do this slowly. I don't know, it doesn't look like it's moving to me. Okay, something's up. It's not moving. Alright, we go back here. Let's double check that things are being returned. Okay, so this is the first thing, which represents its new position. It's still heading the same way. Self.speed. Look here. Did I spell get next state right? Yeah. Is it inside the mouse function? It is. So, what's the problem here? It's not moving. Order of operations is being followed. Let's double check. Yeah. Speed. Heading, fill, position, gray, mouse. Huh. Let's check walking demo. So this seems okay. Zero and 1 inside a walking turtle object after this position. So it gave it something just 1, and that speed seemed to be okay. So perhaps we gave it 2 big numbers? Is that why? I don't see why that would matter that much. Or maybe it's just ticking really slowly. Well, maybe we'll just leave it up. Okay. Alright, stare at this for a while. Do you see it moving? Because I don't. Darn. Looks like the demo may end here. I can't get it. Alright, let's just try maybe adding 2 here. And I'm not seeing anything. Strange. You know, maybe like as I move my face closer to the screen, it seems like it's moving. But I'm wondering if this is because I wanted to move that badly. Like, is it moving? I think it is. Alright, let's test it. Because now I'm wondering if it's like Replit being slow or not. Code looks right. No, it's not moving. I'm being hopeful. Okay, so looks like today's demo ends here. Check the clock. Yeah, it's 9:50. So this is where we pause for now. I hope that kind of makes sense in getting your assignment started. You could at least create like 3 circles or 3 other shapes for your cat and next, and then we'll go back in and then make a move. Not necessarily in the like behaviors that we want, like chasing each other, but get them moving along the screen. That's our next big task. All right. I'm gonna post this. I should really change the name from Flawless Joint Products to something else. So I will share this. I will also upload this video up to YouTube. Let me know if you have more questions. Thursday, it looks like hopefully we'll get it to move at that point. And do email me with questions and stuff. Don't be too worried about your grades. You're all gonna pass.